Welcome to The Brook, bearing clusters of truth with a splash of common sense.
Welcome to The Brook here on Canaan Radio. Back in the studio once again. We're glad that you're with us today. Join us on YouTube, youtube.com/Canaan Radio. You can laugh at our faces or chat with us. It's good to be in the studio today with Brother David.
Good to be here.
Pastor.
Hey!
Do you ever not yell? Brother Peter.
Hello.
And, of course, Brother JT up in the booth, accompanied by a couple of guests.
Dylan?
Dylan? It's Damien. Damien, he was with us last week. And Mickey. Okay, let's get right into things. Don't forget, you can request a song by texting us, 920-940-8275. Or you can send us a direct message on Twitter and Instagram using the handle @Canaan_radio. Can everyone see him?
Yes.
Right now? Okay, all right. Yeah, so don't forget, you can watch us live. Listen.canonradio.com is the website. You'll be able to join the live chat there and see what people are saying.
Comment on the YouTube chat if you are only listening to...
What?
If you're
only listening.
don't comment. Wait. But if you comment, then you're not only.
Exactly. It's impossible. Okay, I got him.
Ouch.
David, did you change your Twitter handle?
No.
From David P. Reeves to David Paul
It's always
Reeves?
been David Paul Reeves.
It's always been the whole
Yes.
thing? Okay. The struggle is
His
really...
emails.
Actually, I think it used to be NPY
yeah.
North Platte NPB.
It was messed up.
YP.
With a dash.
That's what it was.
Number 2. And
That's what it was. North Platte Baptist Church
Give
Youth
me many reasons.
Youth Pastor is what it used to be. North Platte Baptist Church Youth Pastor.
Yeah.
NPBC YP.
YP.
Would you stop asking
Youth
that
Pastor.
question?
Yellow Pages.
Hey, Gabe.
Giving everybody just a minute to get on before
Hey,
we
Brother
continue
Tyson.
on.
Hey, Brother Crawford. Hey, Brother Is it Chanowski? Have we ever figured out how to say his name?
Chanowski.
If you can tell us in
Are
the
you
chat
Polish?
how to... No.
Yeah.
Brother?
Can you
How do
just
you
tell
curious?
us how to pronounce it in the chat?
Nobody cares about Christy.
Wow.
Wow.
Who else is on here?
Man,
You know, without Christy,
good,
you'd be...
Dave. That's
Well.
pretty good, Brother David.
Mom.
All right.
You're going to say hi to the trolls?
Yeah, hello, trolls. Hello,
Can
trolls.
you please post more stuff?
with big rolls.
Can you please take a few more clips and we're trying to get famous here, and you guys are really doing a
They're
horrible job.
slacking, aren't they?
Yeah,
Whatever happened to good free
it's
advertising?
literally what they're there for, and they can't even do the one thing that they're there for.
I mean, you can count on them for this. They suck at everything.
Wow.
Wow, that's
I should have said that for the mean tweets, guys. I'm sorry.
I know they're losers.
emotional damage.
Emotional.
Damn.
Is that you?
Damage.
That's funny. Emotional. That's hilarious.
Wow.
It's Polish for Smith.
What?
Chanowski.
Really?
Polish for Smith.
Chester Chanowski.
Jeff Smith.
Yeah, but we could.
I thought it would just be Smithsky.
What? No.
No, but Brother Smith.
It's the equivalent of.
Brother
Yeah.
Chester
Chanowski.
Chester Cheeto. Chester
Chanowski.
Chanowski.
It's almost like his first name, and then you just put it together.
Not really.
Chanowski.
Nothing like it
Chanowski.
at all.
Chetnowski.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Chesternowski.
A little bit.
Hey, Mrs. Smith's on there. I mean,
Mrs. Smith.
Diana Chanowski.
Gabriel's name is Smith too. Anybody on here
Gabriel
that's
Chanowski.
last name isn't Smith? Anybody?
Mine is
Smith is the best last name.
So generic. Come on, guys, get a better last name.
Smythe. With a Y.
Reeves is pretty good.
Ah.
Who's the most
Tyson Chicken.
unusual here?
Tyson Chicken.
Tyson's
Brother-
pretty usual.
Brother Chanowski.
Chanowski's, that's
it.
the most
He takes the cake.
unusual.
He wins the prize.
Yeah.
Joe Ward's kind of weird.
Tyson.
JT, you queued up?
Tysoński?
Tyson's.
Tysoński? Tysoński.
Tysoński.
Wait, that doesn't sound Polish.
Tysinski.
Tice. Did you say tied? Is it like tie, or
I'm
did you
not-
change it to a T?
I don't know.
It's not Tyson anymore. It's Tisonsky
Tysoński.
instead of Tysonsky.
Sounds German almost.
Tyson ski.
Wardinsky.
Wardinsky.
Why are we adding
Works.
ski to everything?
Because it's Polish.
Rivziski.
Reevski.
Rivski. Ravisky.
Ravisky?
Reveski.
Resky?
That's a good tune in. These guys are drunk. Oh, there's Miss Greeley. Let's see.
Hey,
Greeley.
Grelisky.
Grelisky.
JT, are you ready?
Yeah. I'm waiting.
And with that,
Music ski.
it's time for...
They didn't see it.
They don't see it.
You are doing so good.
I was more laughing.
are
at
you
the fact
talking
Dad's
about,
laughing
Dad?
at me.
Dad,
but nobody saw it. So they
He's
just
the only
saw
one that
you.
controls that.
I actually am flipping back.
That's
and forth.
him.
That's me.
Nobody
That's
sees
David.
that?
No one sees that.
Not unless the main
But it was
camera
like-
is on.
It was
The smallest mistake.
and nobody has any idea. They just come in.
thought it was.
It was
No.
an inside
I thought
joke,
it was up in
folks.
the booth.
You'll never get it unless you come into the
JT,
studio.
show the source
The main
6.
camera?
The main camera. This TV up here, Brother David controls the slides that are on it.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
And
and I
during the intro, you know, it's only like 8 seconds
I was back
long,
here.
maybe? Brother David, he's trying
Oh,
to
wait, it's frozen.
slide through the.
Oh, wait.
See, there you go. He's trying to get to it.
He's never
I was
doing
here.
it on time.
I was here, and I was switching.
I don't
like
know
this.
how many times I've told Pastor that has nothing to do with the live stream, but it's like he'll look up and be like, "Oh, it's a mess." So he thought that JT screwed.
I do a
something.
great job. I don't know what anybody's talking
That
about.
was
Nobody's
actually.
ever.
I would
JT,
like to,
That was like the most smooth.
I would
we've
like
had
to
the whole-
publicly apologize.
Okay.
Because we're always accused of, when we make mistakes, being too prideful not to apologize. And I humbly ask
You switch to his camera. We got to catch.
for
this.
my listening
we should play some-
audience's
Is there a tear?
forgiveness.
Is
Wait. Gotta get up close.
Better poke yourself in the eye a few more times. It might come out.
It's like a violin, like playing in the background.
Okay. Fire away, Brother David.
We had camp our church didn't have camp, but Camp Patmos had camp. Had Mountain View Baptist Church.
Mountain Dew?
Mountain View, that's
Oh,
a great
thanks.
Mountain
idea,
Dew
though.
Baptist Church.
Mountain Dew
Yeah,
Baptist
that'll
Church.
get a lot of-
and your like slogan could be "Do from
Do right.
do right,
Yeah, Psalm 33:3. Yeah, that's it.
do right till the stars fall."
Just do it.
Did something happen?
Dad drank too much Red Bull.
He had too many
Okay,
of them.
I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, we had a church out here for camp. It was great because it was never hit 90 degrees, I don't think, once. 80 degrees all week long.
'cause there was
Yeah,
a-
it was beautiful.
Cloud
There
cover.
was just a
They brought
dew.
their
There was a dew over everything every
Do
morning.
Lord, oh do Lord.
So hard he's crying.
Code Red. Code Red.
Wait, Brother Tyson
good.
said do right.
We're having a blast.
Do what you know to do.
Do what you
Do the do.
Do
Isn't
the
that-
do.
But that is their
Do the
thing.
do.
Do the do. I think they have that.
Speaking of dew, how many
Boy,
flavors
that's
of
a
Mountain Dew are
major
there?
melon
There's
problem
whiteout,
right
there's
there.
Code Red, there's normal. That's all I can remember.
Major melon.
Baja.
All right, here we go. Mountain Dew flavors.
I don't do that.
This is fire away.
Mountain Dew
Definitely.
flavors.
Oh,
We've got
yeah,
Baja
lightning.
Blast, which, to be honest, I love Baja Blast.
Blast.
And I'm
It's
really
very
upset
bland. Don't like it.
that we lost the
good.
Taco Bell
That carried it.
that carried it. Here. Anyway,
You know, we should get
Baja Blast, then there's
Soda fountain at the camp with
Baja Mango Gem.
What?
What?
That doesn't even sound
I haven't
good.
had that one.
Do whiteout is the
Baja
best.
Gold. There's Typhoon.
Code Red.
Flamin' Hot. If you've tried
Flamin'
Flamin'
Hot,
Hot,
really?
you have something mentally wrong with you.
I've
Is that
tried
like
it.
cinnamon flavor?
You tried it?
Somebody
No, it's
had
like
some.
Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Yeah, we had a bunch. Who had
Is-
it? No,
Cheeto flavored
we had
Mountain
it.
Dew.
No, it was
I
a
did not know
spicy.
that.
It was a spicy.
Spicy meatball.
Then there's
when I was at
Mountain
college.
Dew Spark,
Was it when I was at college?
Major Melon,
Somebody had spicy
Major
dew.
Melon.
Code Red,
Code Red is classic. And the best.
Live Wire,
Eh.
Voltage. There is a Mountain Dew that is at KFC right now. It's been there for a while.
That one's
It
okay.
is,
The yellow.
Sweet Lightning. It's like a peach.
Sweet lightning.
I love that. This is like the world's best.
There's Casey's.
Casey's?
Yeah.
Casey's has an exclusive?
Yeah.
That's weird.
What
Mountain
flavor?
Dew's good. We should get sponsored. Pitch Black. Yes, I have had Pitch Black and it is good.
Court's dad
I don't
said.
think they even
Court's
sell it
dad
anymore.
said he
Was it
tried the
blackberry?
Cheeto one, and
No,
it's
it's like
disgusting.
it's the black cherry. It's a
Black
black
cherry?
cherry. It's like a.
You used to have a pitch black, like that was your thing. You
That was
always
my
got
thing.
that.
But they stopped selling it in
It's-
the.
You
You can get it on Amazon.
Yeah,
about
pay
it.
an arm and a leg in it.
Anyway, okay, so
So we had
camp.
camp. It was good. Next.
Dad.
Wow. Can't. Soda for 5 minutes. I'm sorry.
It was like fire away.
It's all right. He's firing away over there.
Pew 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 pew.
The worst sunburn you can get on your lips.
Oh, that is bad.
Driving that boat all week. It's just like I have blisters.
Some chapstick.
How do you get that? Is it the concentration thing?
Is it because he's like this?
The smolder. How was that again? No.
That's
Ouch.
beautiful. That's beautiful.
That has got to be
David.
painful, though.
That's beautiful. Peter,
Fire away. Well, camp.
everybody said. Okay.
Well, that's where
what
we
about
were
camp?
all
we've all
what
been
about
at
camp? What about camp?
The food was good.
Yeah, it was.
Actually, really awesome.
Peter had a big hand in.
I helped cook
rating.
breakfast. I like breakfast. Breakfast is good. That's all.
You know what they
Fireways
say about
supposed to be
breakfast?
bad?
No.
No, it's just
Most
you just
fire
important,
about anything.
most important
quick
meal
fire.
of the day
Is breakfast. And lunch.
Breakfast.
And
That's
dinner.
what they say.
And all the snacks in between.
If you're Damien.
Actually, one of my favorite desserts that we have out there, having nothing to do with breakfast, is the what's it called? The scotcheroos.
Oh, scotcheroos. Oh, those I could eat.
It's basically Rice Krispie treat peanut butter.
That's just too
with
powerful.
chocolate
Sushi.
on
It is.
Too
It is,
sweet.
but it's good.
But it is so fattening. Well, it's good.
We did have a good time at camp.
It was good.
We did a lot of
Unless we were paintballing.
yes.
Yes. Got to hand it to Mrs. Smith for
Paintballing?
yes, paintballing. No, I was finishing up my end.
Oh,
Sorry. For all the food and all the cooking.
yes.
So thank you so
Good
much.
job. People that help.
Is it okay to go ahead on to Will?
No.
Huh? Okay.
Back to you, Peter.
All right, food. All right. Back to you, Will.
Actually, Damien would be in the same boat.
Damien?
The boat?
Damien, yeah,
Get
he'd
it?
be in the same boat. Yeah,
Boat.
always the food. Someone asked him a question.
Oh.
He's like, "What? Lunch? Food?"
When are we eating again?
Oh my word!
Are there
we're
leftovers?
being- Somebody else is behind the wheel. Ah!
This is our camera.
Wow.
hers.
Who is this person?
We've got the controls today. Our Mickey.
The ultimate rookie.
She's gonna
What's her last name again?
do one.
Why does that camera look so yellow?
One. It really does. What's
The
deal
background
there?
is white,
background
not
is yellow.
yellow. But
It actually makes them more woke, more
No.
trendy.
No.
More trendy. That's what I
trendy.
meant,
It
more
looks
trendy.
gross. Hang on.
It
let me
looks
see if I can fix
gross.
that.
Are you talking about her?
No.
Wow.
No. Hey, JT, switch back to her camera. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. I think the white balance is a little bit off.
Mickey wants to announce her transfer
is
to
it-
Great
how
Plains
is it,
Baptist
JT?
College today.
Is that
on
better?
there.
What is,
Oh my
that's,
word!
it's.
No, she meant I don't want to delay any longer.
Yeah, that's exactly
We
what
can
she
still
said.
see Mickey. You didn't fix
Is
it.
it-
She
that
never
better?
said she wouldn't delay.
She says, "I surrender. I surrender."
is that better?
It's better, but it's still, I mean, the wall is supposed to be gray. It looks greenish.
Greenish.
I'm telling you, this
Yeah, it
debut.
looks a little
she's
green.
She is. Everybody in the whole world's
better.
going to think she's famous now.
Okay, well, hang on.
Now she's going to be forever
I'm going to fire her
attached.
right on the air.
Infamous.
Yeah.
They won't even let her graduate there. She'll have to come back.
Okay,
If they
all
let
right.
me
That's
graduate,
about as
they'll
good as
let
I think it's going to
anybody
get,
graduate.
JT. You can switch back to the other camera.
And now we'll never switch that camera again tonight. So,
Now that she's forgotten all of her instructions.
So apparently,
She doesn't
there was
follow
a-
him anyway.
oh!
Reel it in. Let's reel it in.
wow.
Apparently, one of the cabins, well, the girls' cabin, there was a mouse running around. Did you hear about that?
In the rafters?
In the
Yeah,
rafters,
they,
yeah.
Is that why they
Yes.
never won cleaning?
They caught it.
Did they?
Oh, yeah. They never
never-
caught it.
they
They
never
won the
won.
first day. After
You know-
that, somehow we...
You know what you need to get?
I also murdered.
You know what you need,
Raccoons.
you know what you need to get?
No murder.
You need to get those.
Murder.
You need to get some
What does he need to get?
mousetraps.
Mousetrap.
We've got those plug-in
Dicon.
things. Whatever those are, I
We
don't
have
think those
Dicon.
work anymore. No, the plug-in in the wall, they have that
Yeah, the little
The-
super,
sound. That's supposed to-
hypersonic or something.
Yeah, but I think they're.
high. Yeah, basically.
I can see it now. Oh.
We just record... No, never mind.
Give me your drink.
How many
You
of those
lost
you had today?
drinking. You lost drinking privileges.
That sounded really bad. Okay, is everybody done?
This is not the church split.
Everybody done?
The truth is, we're just all really tired.
Huh?
It's been a long
I was
week.
asleep there for a second. What? Highly caffeinated.
Damien,
Also.
I asked him if he was asleep or tired, and he said no. And he fell asleep like 5 minutes later in the truck.
While you were talking to him.
Yeah.
With a taco in his mouth.
Not everybody can be blessed as JT, who works a regular job and gets to go home to bed.
Yeah. Yeah, none of us are that.
You can't say we are weird when you're a part of the weird. JT commented and said he himself is weird.
What?
Who are you calling weird? You said y'all are weird, JT.
This one used my phone.
Oh,
This
Hijacked.
boot to the
one
head.
to the head. That probably
All right.
wouldn't help her.
I hope you put his phone down because we're getting ready to
I have a question though.
move things along.
Gabe, nobody cares about what you think. Does blue go with blue? That's my question. Can you wear a blue shirt with blue pants if they are different shades of blue?
No, that's not the question. It's should, not can. Can is
Should,
capability.
could,
You
would.
can do whatever you.
Why is this?
I don't know. Your face, not you. It was before you came. Don't worry.
Yeah, but why is this a problem?
You're
Thank you, Mom. Mom says yes.
Such a slippery
I've got
slope
dark
that our
blue
ministry
pants.
is in.
I have dark blue pants
They're not
and a
navy.
light blue shirt. I think it's perfectly acceptable, fashionably.
medium blue.
Not advisable.
Somebody look it up. I actually already know the
You know what?
answer.
It just
It's
changes.
totally fine.
From decade to decade.
Yeah. Dark blue, yes. Bright blue. Everybody's giving me their opinion now. This is great. You want to get people's opinion? Ask fashion advice.
Why don't you? Just
You know, half the
Courtney,
wardrobes
does
out
this
there,
outfit
I
make
wouldn't
me
pay my
look-
dog to wear.
Blue?
You didn't hear my statement. Play it back,
She-
and you'll.
What's that song you used to sing about blue, Dan?
being.
I got a dog named Blue. He got ticks on him.
Got the rest?
I'm not finished yet.
Oh wow!
You go with a girl named Sue. She got ticks on her too.
Last week's episode.
Mountain Dew.
Last week's episode will be available eventually as a podcast.
Who are you yelling at?
As a.
Did you not hear what I
as a
said?
podcast.
Oh, you said
At the
as
beginning?
a. Okay,
Let me say it again.
My bad.
Last week's episode, eventually, someday, will be
Last
available.
week's broadcast.
Peter!
Show.
Say it.
Show.
Peter.
I said episode. I said episode.
Eater.
I'm about to lose it.
You want me to do it?
it?
Last week's episode is available as a podcast on our. Oh my word.
Now you can't. Now you
Last
can't.
week's episode eventually
just do it?
will be available as a podcast.
Why do we even
on
say
our
this? We
website.
don't even have.
Remember, you can request
Just
a
look it up
song
when it's
during
up.
the show by texting us 920-940-8275, or you can DM us using the Twitter handle at Canaan_radio on Instagram and on Twitter. Don't forget you request a song anytime. Up next, we're going to play the song Blessed Be the Name, Hyles Anderson College, requested by
As the sun rose that morning.
Welcome to Mean Tweets, a place where we dump all those mean tweets that we've been storing in our queue for far too long that could use a little more context so people could be more offended. With that, in my best newscaster voice, I want to send it over to Pastor, but I totally forgot to make sure that Brother David had the slide for this week.
This is what I'm talking about.
You guys are going to be
You
deaf.
boys are going to be the death.
Exactly. I knew it was coming. Brother David, let me airdrop this to you real quick. Where's my share? There it is. Airdrop. Send it to Brother David. I see it. There it is. Alrighty. Do.
Hello.
JT, I'll let you cue it up to MP2
Okay.
whenever it's time. All right. So first mean tweet of the day is Pastor Reeves. Pastor.
It seems there is an art to the making and selling of a book. Just create your own pragmatic boogeyman and then write about how destructive it is in our IFB movement. This tweet is motivated by the many books that are being written today of my generation, this generation, by pseudo-intellectuals.
That's a good word. That's a big word.
Pseudo-intellectuals. And they're also secondary pastors. I would say you're supposed to be first a pastor, but I think they take according to their tweets and their social media blogging, all that stuff, I don't think they take pastoring as more important than creating pragmatic boogeymen, so that they can make themselves famous and write books.
Do you have an example?
I do have an example. Imagine that I have an example. This is a statement out of a book. It was written by an author, pastor, a pseudo-intellectual.
Great.
I read it, and I was like, somebody else had put it out. And so I wasn't looking for it. It just kind of came along my timeline, and I was like, oh, my word. Here it is. Ready?
Yes.
Books on theology and the great scriptural themes are replaced by books about how to boost church attendance, run a music program, parent a family, and structure a ministry. The truth is, our bookshelves ought to be weighted more to the side of how to understand some spiritual truth, exercise some spiritual grace, or grasp the inerrant riches of some biblical book, rather than how to organize a Sunday school class. And then it has the author's name.
That's the quote?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So I went ahead and I rewrote it because I believe in fixing things. And so I rewrote it. I have never replaced any theology. I can't even say theological. No, I have never replaced any theology or great scriptural books on my bookshelf with books about how to boost church attendance, run music programs, parent a family, or structure a ministry. They have always shared the shelves. After all, don't they contain spiritual truths, exercises of spiritual grace, and hold inerrant riches? Bill Reeves, not a schizo. Anyway, so the technique is this. So I have, if you look at my office, I have a few books. I have a lot of books. And there are books of theology in my collection. There are books written by people that I wouldn't aspire to wholeheartedly, but they've had a few nuggets in it here and there. But there are also books on my shelves written by men who built great ministries, by men who wanted to help in the building of families. We call them spiritual how-to books, maybe, I don't know. But if you ever crack one of those, lo and behold, inside you find spiritual truths and Bible and theology and doctrine. You find it all throughout it. So this art of splitting a hair, straining in a gnat, and then acting like all the IFB are Looney Tunes because they have Jack Hyles' How to Build a Sunday, Let's Go Soul Winning, or books on character. They must be evil guys. And it's a joke is what it is. And what they ought to do is they ought to put down their pens and see if, first of all, they can't maintain a marriage. Second of all, raise some godly children that'll live for the Lord and stay living for the Lord where they move out of your house or away from your church. Before they ever think, I'm going to listen to them. I ain't got time for that garbage. But what their attempt is in this world is to become famous by writing books and tearing down those that are actually doing something for the Lord. So there's my mean tweet.
If your theology doesn't motivate you to build and organize your Sunday school class, then
You got the wrong
you got the
theology.
wrong theology.
No, but we're out there just to study the scriptures.
I was going
Not
to
to
say,
impart
any-
if
Or apply any spiritual.
the point of truth is
Truth
just to
derived
understand
thereby.
it, but never to practice it,
Well, here's the
Where
problem.
you miss the total
Here's
idea.
the problem is
That
because
God
understanding
totally
is from a
understands.
perspective. But in order to put it to practice, everybody sees that. You actually have to work.
So, Dad, would you say that this specific, so your tweet was was talking about this? Obviously, is not isolated to one single book.
No.
This could be found a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So, would you say that this idea comes from
Pretty much.
those who are trying to find a way to excuse their own lack of implementation of biblical truth, and rather just we should all be philosophers?
It's not to excuse it away. It's to hide it. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to confront it. Instead of taking your time and musing, maybe you should take your time and minister. And
Ooh, that's good.
I know this is the mean tweet section, so I'm being mean. And I know that's how people perceive it, but it's just absolutely crazy because guys like me are getting butchered. I mean, all podcasts, as far as I'm concerned, that address theological issues and doctrinal issues also attack independent fundamental Baptists that are going soul winning, knocking doors, running buses, have dress standards, have music standards. Their podcasts are all about showing off their pseudo-intellectualism and being so smart. But Brother Howes used to say, what's the point in being so heavenly?
That you're no earthly
Yeah, that you know earthly good. You're so heavenly good, you know earthly good. And these guys have just mastered. And with the podcast and the book writing and all that, I say, all you're doing is turning me off more and more to even looking at anything you have to say because you've done nothing. At least Spurgeon did something.
It's good.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to quote Spurgeon. They Moody. They want to quote these guys, But they built churches.
Right.
They had something to show for their
People got
work.
saved. I mean, and I'm not. We're a small church. We just had camp. Brother First was out here, and he's a small church, and got Brother Tommy McMurtry, and he's a small church. And I wouldn't say I agree with either one of them 100%. I know our eschatology is different, but they're having people saved. And they're doing the work for God. And they're not out there, as far as I'm concerned, trying to show off their intellectualism. To go do something for the Lord. So, anyway, and I'm sure I'll hear about this, well, writing books is doing something for the Lord. Yes, but I promise you Spurgeon's writings will way outlive your magazines.
Yeah.
I mean, really, in comparison,
Yeah.
he wrote books. Most of these guys they're just writing magazines. When you get cut through all the garbage that these pragmatic boogeymen they make up and try to spend time destroying, it's just straw men.
Makes me think of a verse. Ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth.
And I could say they're one step away from the loser crowd I talked about last week. They actually get along very well with that crowd.
For some reason.
What's funny is they claim to be independent fundamental Baptist, King James, and they get along more with the RFP crowd than they do with people who actually run buses, go soul winning, believe in standards, and actually don't hesitate in getting up in their pulpits and saying what needs to be said to their people. So, anyway, to those that are listening that are from my church, I would say the best book that you can buy and spend time reading is the Bible. Because that is inspired and preserved. And it's God's Word. And I just got done preaching about living by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God, not out of these pseudo-intellectuals. So that's my mean tweet. I'm done.
It's good.
It's good.
I'm done.
Brother David.
I'm not. I'll probably go on later, but that's all right. I'm done.
Brother David, your turn. It's your mean tweet.
This is my tweet. You're not an adult until you stop saying, but I can. Hashtag maturity. That's good.
That is good. That is good. Elaborate
Sort of,
for
we were
us.
talking about, like, we were kind of chuckling about, we were sort of joking before the broadcast about, like, how do you know when you're an adult? When you don't have to prove that you are one. You know, you don't have to say, but I can, what was the one that we were talking about?
Renting a car.
I can
Is
rent
it
a car.
is it
I can
renting
rent
a
a U-Haul. U-Haul. I can, whatever. There's a bunch of them.
That's the world. You're 18. When you're 18, you can move out of the house. When you're 21, you can buy beer. What's the age for voting? 18.
18.
The world says you can drive a car when you're 16. My question about when an adult is can we find some kind of guideline in Scripture out of every Every word, live by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of God. What has God said? What has been the markers for adulthood in the Bible?
Marriage. Right. That is where you're going, right?
I only see one place in the Bible where it says leave and cleave. That you actually become independent at the point of marriage. So I have a older daughter. She's single. She has her own house. She lives out. She doesn't ask me, can I go do this, can I do this? But she still considers herself to be my little girl. And I think if she made any major decisions, she would come ask me. So I don't think she's ashamed to say,
the point
I'm
is
not an adult.
That's the point, though.
Biblically.
That's what I'm saying. The point is, if you have to ever say, but I'm an adult, you might want to stop and check yourself. Because, like, I hear usually it's teenagers that are the ones that are like, yeah, but I'm an adult. I can drive a car. You can operate one. You can't. Well, we will leave that up to discretion if it's actually driving.
But they don't drive like an adult, and they probably are not putting gas in and paying for the insurance like an adult. And there's a lot of people that are 25, 30 years of age can they're technically, bodily, physically, emotionally adults, but spiritually, where's the tie at? And if they can digest that, it probably won't ever be a problem. The only time it's a problem is when they refuse to be submissive to what Scripture, and they shouldn't really need to do that if they want to serve the Lord, if they want to follow God, and they're doing things by biblical principle anyway. So
really, it can that idea, it can present a picture that you're reaching for something that you are not yet supposed to have, which means you're letting go of things you probably should hold on to, like biblical authority, counsel, and things. Because you've been in that spot where, as a young person, you're getting older, and it's like, to demonstrate that I am an adult, I am not going to listen to my authorities.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, I think there's a maturity marker there. It's funny because when you watch kids when they're little, they're always, and you guys did it. Hey, Dad, can I do this? Can I do that? Everything I did, you guys wanted to try. And there were many times I said, no, you're not. You're not an adult. What was I saying? You're not mature enough yet. You don't have the thinking necessary. So I'm always leery about those who want to do everything, but they don't want to commit. There's no commitment. There's no, I'm going to use what I want to do it so I could use it. They just want to do everything. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. That's a child's mentality.
Which is true when it comes to colleges. Oftentimes they're like, you'll hear, you guys are an adult now. But all of their dating and stuff, there's never a commitment. It's all just dating somebody for, then dating them, and then dating. It's all immaturity.
It's practice for divorces.
No, it's just immaturity. It's like, you're not an adult, It's like...
How's that again? Is that an original?
Oh, man. Okay. This has been Mean Tweets. It got thick in here. We should probably move on. Remember, you can request a song during the show by texting us 920-940-8275. You can direct message us on Twitter or Instagram using the handle @Canaan_radio. And with that, we're going to play the next requested song. This song was requested by Lindsay. God can and He will, Our Father's full. In this segment of episode 8, entitled Open Season, we're going to talk about physical labor, physical work, working with your hands. Ever since the first sin in the garden, man has been cursed to labor physically in discomfort to produce something as simple as food for himself. Genesis 3:17-19, the Bible says, "And unto Adam he said, Because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, Thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee. And thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out of it wast thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread. This is physical, sweat-producing work, and it will always be one of the reminders of the fall of man. Since that time, man has constantly tried to escape this fact, to alleviate the reminder of sin, and to try and avoid the commands of God in search of comfort. We have long been benefactors of mankind's witty inventions, but never has there been a more lazy and comfort-seeking generation than ours today. Jobs abound, and yet young people refuse to work. Social programs abound to the extent that it can pay more to stay at home and never get a job again than to get a simple job at McDonald's, which I hear is now paying close to $16 an hour. Crazy. Regardless, today's topic is not just to view the societal breakdown of hard work and its negative effects on everything around us, but rather to view how hard physical labor has become scarce in the church and in its staff. A generation of Christian workers have been raised to think that the full-time Christian worker's job entails hours behind a desk, studying God's Word, scheduling coffee shop meetups, organizing retreats, or planning activities in the church. While these can sometimes be a part of the church staff members' duties, these are far from the full extent of the work of the ministry. You see, in pursuit of some self-reasoned enlightenment derived from the patterns set by the world, some have fallen prey to the belief that work behind a keyboard, book, desk, pen and paper is what we are called to. We need to be willing to strengthen our hands to the work and to be willing to hold a trowel in one hand and a sword in the other. I'm not talking about mowing the church lawn and posting about how a preacher can't be listened to unless he's mowed the church lawn. I'm talking about having a life that looks for hard work, a philosophy that sees work in places like projects around the church and doesn't have to wait for a layman to get to it or believe that the work is below their office. Hard work is who we should be as Christians. Hard work is satisfying. Hard work is fulfilling. Hard work is biblical. Hard work is necessary. Over time, our technology has improved the ease with which work can be completed, and it has been to the detriment of our generation. We should be replacing the time saved with new processes and tools with more work that may not have such a tool. Technology is amazing, and there's not a single field of work that does not have some sort of technology to improve its speed and usefulness. That being said, we have allowed technology to improve work to replace work. I'm not saying that we should go back to the dark ages and utilize a horse and buggy for travel, ditch running water, or get rid of some of the advancements in technology that have made life more enjoyable and helped ministry be more effective in our present day. I'm trying to point out the lack of balance. Mowing a lawn once doesn't make you a hard physical worker. Painting a room at the church doesn't make you a hard worker. Building a website doesn't make you a hard worker. Making a podcast doesn't make you a hard worker. A great way to identify if you're a hard worker is to think about how often you break a sweat in the work that you do. Physical work will always yield a visible result. And as much as everything we do today involves technology and sit-down work, we cannot refute the fact that there are far less men and women around the world and in the ministry who are hard physical workers. This has led to more pointless books, doctrinal errors, foolish and unlearned questions, and internet trolls with nothing better to do but to create foolish podcasts, blogs, and social media accounts for the sole work of criticizing others. It's not just a lack of work, but the avoidance of it. Bottom line is that as 2 Thessalonians 3:10 says, that if any should not work, neither should he eat.
That's good preaching right there. I agree with everything you just said. I think that our independent fundamental Baptist churches are hurting today because you got a bunch of kids that grew up without a shovel in their hand, no blisters. I don't think they ever had any kind of blister form on their fingers, Pete. It was probably on their index and their thumb finger.
From what? Yeah.
Video games, maybe?
Yeah. It's the only thing I can think of.
I was just thinking, Pete, been here 8 years?
Yes, sir.
8 years. Came before he married Jewel for a year and a half.
Just over a year.
Just
maybe.
over a year.
13 months or something like that.
Worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
If there would be a criticism I could never use on him, is he's lazy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's one of the hardest working men. You talk about sweat.
Yeah, if we're going to compare.
This old boy
David
wins
He's got
the
enough
prize.
for all of us. He sweats enough for all of
Yeah,
us.
wins the prize right there, buddy.
good.
Well,
But here's
to share the blessing.
yeah. Now we there's times we have thinking issues and confusion, and we don't think the same. But once we have conversation and work through that, one of the hardest workers I've ever seen in my life, and I would hope that I've earned that respect with you. That as a preacher, that I'm a hard worker.
Mm-hmm. Never afraid to get your hands dirty.
No, I think that that's one of the things, the dangers of social media. And I've heard some preachers criticize having social media at all, and that would be fine if they actually did something in the 10 years where they have been at. But they don't do anything. It's kind of confusing to me. There's no ministry built.
Right.
There's nothing happening. People are not getting saved, and the only thing they have is their job that they go to. But there's no work inside the church. There's no bettering the church properties. There's no renovating. It's just, and I like what you said about not waiting for the layman to decide to pick up the trash or whatever it is,
Right.
mow the lawn, to go out there and do that. Which just, but what we've done is we've taken that next generation, and I think our Bible colleges are filled with a bunch of lazy bums. And I think the best thing you could do, or honestly, I thought about Commonwealth. I thought one of the greatest things Commonwealth could do was instantly employ every male that is accepted into college there. And then if they don't work, if they don't produce, they're fired.
Oh, that's a good test of
They're
work
fired.
ethic.
That would be a circus. I would go there just to experience that.
Well, they did hire quite a few young men, but you're right.
Work trains you.
It does.
In a different
trains
way
you.
than-
It builds your character. It makes you stop to think. Okay, this didn't happen the way it should have. What did I do wrong?
Exactly.
Go back and redo it. You can train yourself. In this day and age, you can train yourself by Googling or YouTubing how to do something. And if you're willing to go out and work, even if I'm afraid to make a mistake, well, then you shouldn't be in the ministry. Period. You just shouldn't be. And we've made plenty of mistakes, but we're willing to fix our mistakes.
Right.
We're willing to try it again. Do it. First, you don't succeed. Try again was something that I was always taught as a kid. But people don't want to sweat. They don't want to get uncomfortable. They don't. They don't want to stink. I don't want to stink either. But work and sweat and dirt and toil, that's part of work.
Yeah.
So it's going to happen. You can always take a shower. But these guys, they don't want any of that. So they dress up in their trendy clothes. And they go sit behind some desk somewhere, and this is their work.
Right.
And they think, "Oh, I worked so hard today."
Definitely, like you said, there's a issue with people wanting to be comfortable. Everyone wants to be comfortable. And I also think what's interesting is those same people that they're all they do is criticize, and they're basically, their job is to have podcasts and basically a sit down job, write books, whatever. They will schedule time to be uncomfortable at a gym,
Right.
doing pointless work that gets zero done.
Bodily exercise profits little.
It profits, but it profits little.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about do some bodily exercise that profits more than just your body?
Which is work. Physical work.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
physical labor.
right, and I think I would agree. Somebody said, "Have you ever written a book?" Oh, I've written some little pamphlets, a couple of them, no big deal. I'm not much of a writer, so I acknowledge that. And truth is, I can't sit behind a desk and feel like I've actually accomplished something just because I wrote 4 or 5 chapters of a book. I don't feel like that is productive. It's not it's not productive in the scope of all the things that need to be done to move a ministry forward. I don't feel sitting down and musing and talking and philosophizing with other preachers brings anything productive to the ministry that God's called me to. So working, being productive, building something, that to me, you have something to show from that, not just something that you have to dust every 6 months on your bookshelf and nobody really reads anyway. Somebody said to me, "Why don't you write a book, Pastor?" Why should I? When they got a Bible, they don't even read. Then why read my book?
Yeah.
Just read your Bible. So, how do you think I got so intelligent?
You think about why there's so many unhappy people today, especially young people. It's because they never see the product of their work because they don't work.
To show for it.
And that's one of the things that brings true peace and true happiness and fulfillment and satisfaction is you sit back after a hard day of work or a project that you've been working on and you're proud of it.
Yeah.
And it gives you something you'll never get by leveling up in a video game.
We were built in the image of God, in his likeness. And what did he do after 6 days?
Right.
He rested, and he looked on all that he had done.
Because he said, "That's good."
That was good.
That's
We're
good.
built the same way. We accomplish work. We're going to feel satisfaction in that
want
work.
that.
Right. We bring people into the studio here and show them the studio. Wow. And we love that. When they, wow.
This is the least used room in this
Yeah, but we're
place.
never in here. You're never here, but we built it. But
Right.
but the thing is it's so rewarding when people see it and you go, "That's neat." But you look at these same people and you go, "What are you doing with your time? Why aren't you building?" Well, this should not be that big of a deal, I think, to the average independent fundamental Baptist preacher or Christian who understands work for the night is coming.
It's good.
Work for the night is coming. When
Problem
man
is,
can work no more.
Everyone is defining work for themselves.
Yeah.
They're this is work, and it's about people, obviously about people, but I think that's once again another straw man argument where it's like we're more about people than we are buildings. Yes, but you have to have a place to put the people.
And oftentimes that shows.
That's true.
There's a balance
That's true.
there's a balance to both sides. I mean, the Bible's very plain. Further by these, my brother, my son, be admonished, making many books, there is no end, and much study is weariness of the flesh. So we know from Ecclesiastes that there's a balance because in the New Testament, studies show thyself approved, and they got to work when they need not be ashamed. But it's very plain in that verse. Study to be what?
Approved.
Oh no, a workman.
A workman.
A whatman?
A workman.
A workman.
Not a bookman, not an authorman,
Right.
a workman. So when you study, the purpose is to actually accomplish something.
good.
I want to know, when you write a book, is your whole idea of writing a book and being a successful author how many books you sell? Because if I write a book, I want it to be a book that people use to change their life. And call it pragmatic, but I would rather have a book filled with Bible truths, and when somebody reads it, they learn how to live the Christian life,
Right.
how to get the blessings of God,
Right.
how to have a successful
Right.
marriage, how to have successful finances for the glory of the Lord.
Yeah, and it sort of goes back to the same argument or what we were talking about earlier between books of theology and practical books. You're not saying that you should never write a book. You're
Right.
saying you ought to be balanced in both of those areas. Just like your bookshelf should have both in them, your life should have both in it.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to be an author or have time to do that or be called or have the ability or talent to do it. But if you are talented or tend more towards book writing, being an author, than you do hard work, and you don't have anything in your life physically to prove, like, look, this is what I've done.
Yep.
And you walk through, and it shows in other areas that you're lacking in the physical work. Light bulbs out.
In their home.
It needs clean. Whatever needs cleaned.
You go visit someone's
Right.
home. That's exactly what you're saying, brother.
Right.
You visit someone's home, and it's a why didn't they mow their lawn? Do they know what a weed eater is?
Right.
How about plant a few flowers? Why not fix the cracks in your sidewalk? How come your foundation's falling in? I mean, people pull up and you invite them over to your house, and you got to clean off all the junk off of folding chairs you got in the
You'd probably
corner.
be amazed at how many theological truths you could learn while you work. Well, what just happened was it today? We were sitting, we weren't working, we were actually eating. But I'm just saying, you look at life, and you can pull truths Practical truths.
Definitely.
From the Bible.
Truth isn't just to be up here.
It's not
Truth
just
has to be
books. It's
practiced.
not just in books.
But I'm saying
You have to
it's
practice
practice.
it.
It physically happens in the real world, not just words on a book or things on a screen. It has to be applied somewhere.
Right.
So to just think that it's just all up here or in a book that sits on a shelf, it does absolutely nothing for anybody unless it is applied. So that's why that's the point of work.
Yeah.
Physical work.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I don't know if any of us are in here are really not theologians. I mean theologians. We're just not bookworms. And you like to read, but it's not like any of us sit around and think about.
I would say of our family, David's probably
Yeah, he actually
probably
reads
the
the most
reader.
books.
But I never
more
have
reader than
time.
I am.
I never have time to read either.
Because why?
Because we're always working.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I
It's like
need
you
more
gotta
leisure time so I
work.
can read.
Well, let me ask you guys.
I think
let me
you're
ask you a
right
question.
with-
I keep you guys pretty busy. Does that bother you?
Sometimes. I mean, every once in a while,
What
you
do
know.
it takes you away from what?
Other
Not
work.
working? Yeah, okay, exactly. Other work. Other work.
My work.
Exactly. Oh, wait a minute. We have a problem.
That's fine. But it's
But
not.
I think-
It's not like it takes you away from writing.
No, exactly.
come to work.
But I
Got
do
work
think
to
that
do.
the point that you just made, where if that's your talent, it's something that you're good at, you're going to tend to want to do that because it's easy, it's more comfortable.
Right.
It doesn't require a lot of extra effort. And they always say, "No, it does."
Yeah. Just to be a little bit transparent, this camp has been interesting. I love driving the boat. There's pretty much an idea that when people come to our camp, that I like to try to take them out on the lake and drown them, kill them, really hard on them.
Yeah.
And somebody I think the pastor had made a statement on Facebook. Brother Reeves won't get on the tube and let us drive. Well, number one, duh. How much time have you had driving a boat? And you don't have to pay for the boat when it's broken and you ran it into the shoreline, And so that part of that's like that one, But it's not like I'm afraid to be on a tube. How do you think I got 4 kids that can tube and ski? I mean, I know I like to tube. I like to do those things. But somebody has to drive the boat.
Yeah.
And I'm the guy that drives the boat. The thing about it is, I don't know where I was going.
Here's the thing.
I was trying to get up. I was trying to ski.
Yeah.
And I've gained a couple pounds. A couple pounds. Anyway, the boat's more powerful than what I'm
Right.
used to.
Right.
And it would pull that line right out of my hands. So I just never got up on it. But doesn't mean I won't in the future. But that was hard work, trying to get up on those skis to have fun. But I'll tell you what, I have always enjoyed. People look at me like, why do you keep trying that? Because I think it's fun. I think it's fun to try to build something. Why? What is it about this ministry for me? Why does my church go, okay, what property are we buying now? All right, what are we renovating now? It's constantly coming with more work. Because it's a challenge, because every independent fundamental Baptist preacher in this church before me acted like it couldn't be done.
Right.
And I thought, nope, you just got to outwork the next guy. Just got to outwork them. It can be done. And it may take a while, but it can be done. So work. I'm sorry. I'll stop talking. You guys go ahead.
the work.
Just do it.
Do
it. Mom, do it.
Oh, my goodness.
Is it off work? Just
Well, if I can chime in,
Oh, yes, please.
I do want to throw out that Pastor lives what he preaches. I've been here 3 years, getting ready to start my 4th year here, and when I came out, Pastor did put me on staff, and Pastor did work me, and I cannot tell you how valuable being on staff it was about 1.5 years, I think it was, that I was on staff. Just the immense amount of things that I learned: how to drywall, how to better paint, how to do carpentry work, and a number of other things that I had no idea about when I came here. Well, going into the ministry, going to be a pastor, I'm taking all those skills with me. And the value in that is incredible. And you won't find that at any other colleges. You just won't.
I think, to build on top of that, it's amazing sometimes when you bring people in and you like show them around, whether it be the properties or, the ministry, and you talk about ministry. And the first thing everyone's going to see is the properties. It's just natural. I mean, they're not going to be blindfolded. But just like when the reality of the fact that, we didn't hire any construction teams to do this work.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We did. All of it.
Plumbing, electrical, drywalling, finish work,
Everything.
texturing,
All of it.
ceiling, acoustics,
I remember
tiles.
A long time ago,
Everything.
I said, when you think about the work that's been accomplished, you can look at any part of this building and go, I'm pretty sure I have looked at or touched almost every part of this building. Been a part of building something.
When
And
you're
it's
leaning over the throne of a toilet, putting in, you're thinking, this is gross.
But here's the thing though. They never.
Unless it's a new choice.
I was going to say.
They never see that.
No, they don't.
The pastor who stands up in the pulpit and preaches the message and delivers God's word and says, "Work, for the night is coming." The first thing everybody else goes is, "Oh, you don't work." But if you only could see the statements about things like, "Oh, he won't get on the tube." Are you kidding me?
And that's why people in churches do not work. If you're waiting for a layman to go do something, he probably won't, because you set the example of not working.
Well, and here's the other thing. People will talk about, people can say and have the perception, oh, you're proud about the work you do. No. If you don't talk about the work you do, about work that's getting done, it's not emphasized. Mm-hmm. People just think that all you do is sit down and study books. But no, we talk a lot about the work that's done. Because why? Work is how things get done. It's how stuff gets accomplished.
Sometimes I don't talk about it. Like I told you, we were fixing her car, putting the radiator in.
Right.
So I don't want people to know that I can do this kind of work. Because you know what they do?
They'll come to you and say, hey, will you fix my car too? Yeah, exactly.
Will you look at my car?
Right.
I'm not your mechanic. Take a hike, Jack. I'm sorry, Jill. Just go. I got stuff to do.
It's amazing
to work on a bus before I work on your car.
It's amazing to see what God has accomplished here, and I've thought about it a lot over this just this year, thinking about all that God has used Pastor Reeves to do and the people of the church to build, and the people to be reached, buses to be run, souls to be saved, lives to be changed because of the work, the physical labor, an end result of the physical sweat of the brow of the members of North Platte Baptist Church. Yeah. And you can't help but be proud of the fact you're part of a church that's working because the night is coming.
Man, it's good.
And to make a point to the fact that you said, people sometimes say, you're just proud of all your work.
Yup.
Yeah.
That was deep.
I'm just saying is, sometimes I think people may wonder why we're so loud. Maybe a lot of us are so loud on social media. It's because you're proud of what you're doing. If you're not doing anything, you're quiet. Mm-hmm. So find a church that's doing something you might.
I think there's I think there's a lot of men that could really grow their churches if between Sunday and Wednesday they could change a light bulb. Clean up your stinking properties, dudes. What are you doing running from conference to conference to conference to conference, wearing your suits and being all that in a bag of chips? Stay home, get your step ladders out, get your power tools out, open your God-given eyeballs and take what little education you do have to write down words and go, light plate needs fixed, light switch needs fixed, carpet coming up in foyer. Take out the 40-watt light bulbs and put LED 5,000 lumen bulbs in. And maybe you don't want to do that because guess what you'll see? More work that needs done.
I think
walking into bathrooms, they smell like sewer pits. I'm like, who's a member of this church?
Right. I think people, it's a tendency to want brand new, but they won't take care of the old or fix up the old, And so it's so funny. Sometimes you'll have young people come in from other churches. When they see the building, see the property, it's like, whoa. And they can't help it.
You know what they
Especially the younger kids. They're like, this is so nice. It's like, Like just a bunch of kids coming in and they're like, oh, this is amazing, and then part of you feels bad because if they've got other folks with them or people who are older or people who are from another church, they can get a little frustrated, but the kids can see it. I mean, it's like they're like, look, it's like,
I was
wow,
watching
this is
them.
so nice.
I was watching some of the campers come into the backyard, and I heard a couple, whoa, this is a beautiful backyard. And I'm like, any yard you have could be beautiful if you just took care of it. I mean, seriously.
It works.
It does.
It
it takes
work.
what?
It takes work.
It takes work.
Right.
And that's the thing.
You gotta work.
If you're a hard worker, you may not have a lot of money, but it'll look like you do.
For years, and people still, I promise you.
You
people
don't
think
need
this about
money
this.
to work.
Exactly. Well, and here's the thing. People, I promise you today, think they're loaded. Ha ha. No, we know how to take care of what you have.
Right. And here's
take care of your stuff.
And here's the thing: most people, I think, feel like they can't do these type of things, like the drywalling, the carpentry work, electrical, plumbing. But the truth is,
Great Plains Baptist College will teach you.
Anybody can do it. You just have to be willing to get your hands dirty.
Right.
You have to be willing to pull up the carpet. You have to be willing to YouTube it, Google it,
And YouTube again.
And guess what? You know what you'll find? Yeah, and you know what you'll find in today's world? Stuff is really built in a way where everybody can do it themselves.
Yeah.
So you can do it. Anybody can do it. You just got to be willing to
Do it.
do it.
Just do it.
What do you got to say?
Just do it.
All right.
Yeah.
That's good, Brother Peter.
That's good. That's true.
Brother
too
Peter.
tired.
You should,
exactly.
You really
He
should
really
say
is. He really
something
should.
about it because you're the hardest
You
working
are.
guy
You are
we
a
got.
hard worker.
Physically,
No, I just sweat more.
well,
If that's criteria we're going off of, then yeah.
but you have a wife, 2 kids,
Right.
you've got your own house. You know,
I
you've
just got
got
done
2
mowing the
vehicles.
lawn.
Right.
Yeah.
That's been a good number of weeks. The last 2 weeks. Sorry. So 2 weeks ago, it was 100 degrees out, and we were getting ready for our set of camps that we had coming up, and just doing some last minute things in 100-degree weather. It was awesome. Putting up the paintball
Tilling
net.
the beach, which you
Tilling
did
the
completely
beach.
by
Oh, you
yourself.
did.
Thank
Yeah.
the
It was
Lord.
great. Well, Will
Hey,
got to drag it.
I
a few
dragged
times,
it in the
so
air
he did.
conditioned ATV.
I hate your guts.
Man.
Oh man,
Some
I
people-
love that thing.
Some people work smarter, not harder. I've taught all those concepts to my boy. Work
man.
hard, but if you can be smarter
Right.
and not harder, you're going to do things faster and be more productive.
But that's what I said at the beginning. I said, if you're replacing,
But you know, some people
time-
do work really hard at not working.
That's
so
true.
So they spend a lot of time saying this is going to save time. When somebody like me goes, no, just pick up the shovel and do it. It's not going to save more time. It's just that next generation looks at you and they don't believe anything you say. Like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, pretty.
So you have to let them go waste their time.
You know what you need?
A Red Bull.
Not another one.
You know what the truth is, though? It was something that I was just sitting here thinking about
What do I
this.
need?
Be
Something
careful that as a
we've learned.
hang on. Be careful that as a young person that you refrain. If you haven't had a ministry, or you haven't been, that you're not a pastor, you don't have a wife, you're single.
A can of black spray paint.
Be careful that you're not a person that walks around and tells everybody, you know what you need.
Right.
Shit, David.
That's what you need.
What's wrong with you?
I was
Sorry,
just
David.
about to say something that actually you could kind of goes into that. But one of the things that I found to be true, this isn't always the case, but oftentimes look around, the people that are the quietest, a lot of times they're the hardest working people.
Yeah.
You can learn a lot by just watching them. I know some of the men that I've known growing up over the years, they don't say a whole lot.
Women too. Lindsay Hart.
But
one
they
of the
do a
hardest
lot.
working.
Brother Smith.
Yeah.
Brother Smith's hard.
Yeah.
Lindsay Hart's a hard worker.
Yep.
I mean, all of our people. I
No,
think
we're
all
all
of our
be
people.
quiet.
All the ladies we have. Are pretty
I mean, no, seriously, Mrs. Smith.
Oh, right.
A whole week at camp.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you're not
Appreciate all
talking.
her work.
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable.
coming out.
Mrs. Bennett with all the help that she provided.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about those who rather spend time talking or they divert from work,
Right.
so that they can talk. I'm not worried about talking. Let's get the work done,
It's good.
and
And talk will happen.
talk.
There's a
will-
time
it
to
does.
talk.
It just does. There's a time to talk.
Yep. That's what we're doing right now.
Here's the other thing.
In air conditioning.
You know what else? You know what else? I think it's
Just so good.
maybe a loose connection, but I feel like it's still a connection. People who are more willing just to do than stand around and talk are the same people who are more willing to just obey first, and the understanding will come, because you'll just do it. Understanding is going to come. You may not understand why you're working, but if you just just be a doer. It's not about philosophy. It's not about.
Well, I think one
what's
of the
reason?
reasons people they won't listen to counsel is because it takes work. Work is not something people really want to do. That's why it's a curse.
Right.
I don't like
you
the
know
work.
what?
The way you overcome
Nobody
that
likes
is you have
to
to
work.
look at the value. You have
we
to
get
look
to
at
heaven,
the end product. You have to see
Exactly.
what comes from
gonna
it.
be-
If it's just about how you're
Hey,
uncomfortable.
Pete wants to talk.
Sorry,
Listen.
I'm
It's
sorry.
just when we get to heaven, it's going to be interesting to see exactly the kind of work we get to do. And we won't consider it that way, but
Well, that'll hair lip all the lazy
You know
people.
what's gonna be interesting? Is gonna
just
see.
saying.
It's gonna see
It'd be great.
Jesus carpentry work.
Yeah.
all right, Jesus, you've had
I don't think JT there will be any.
We've seen it.
Any
Have you
cross cuts and in the trim, just random gap
We've-
with filled in
come
with
on.
caulk.
We've
I don't
seen
think that's gonna be there.
We've seen the Lord's work. Just
Grows the
take
tree
just
into a
take a
house.
look
Yeah.
at this world.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's so amazing. They're
unbelievable,
still-
perfect.
Finding stuff out today.
It's
That's just
perfect.
unbelievable. I'm talking on the microscopic level. They're discovering things that are in an orderly
You know what's
fashion.
amazing to me? You take and go into a forest.
So picky.
You go into a forest, and no tree is exactly the same. So it's not like there's just one way a tree has to grow, or it's not perfect. Every one of those trees is different, and every one of those trees is perfect. God did that. That's what's amazing about God.
good.
And if we would allow ourselves to be willing to work hard, we would be shocked. That it may be different than but it still will be good. It will be good, and it'd be worth the time and the effort to do what's hard and difficult. I honestly believe the lack of work also can hurt a person's health. So if a person's struggling in a health area, they get overweight, you have to work hard, you have to exercise,
right.
that takes work. Well, if you have digestive problems, whatever, sometimes people make their whole thing worse because they won't get any physical activity in. So, work, God knew what he was doing when he had us work.
It's good.
So, learn to work, folks. Good.
Okay. Before anyone else adds something.
So, no, I'm just kidding.
Remember, you can request a song during the show, texting us 920-940-8275. You can actually send us a message anytime during the week requesting a song maybe that you've heard on the radio, listen.canaanradio.com. You can DM us during the show to request a song using the handle @Canaan_radio. That's on Twitter and on Instagram. Or you can just request one in the chat. With that, we're going to play the next requested song, You Were There, by the Faith Men. This song was requested by Gabe. We'll be right back. And finally, we have reached our last segment entitled Safe Space. This is a segment dedicated to all good things and bubbly blessings. Bubbly blessings. Thank you.
Oh,
Firing at anything controversial is strictly prohibited. Brother David, you got...
Yeah, I got one. I would have to say probably my safe space this week is just all the hard work that was put in by our church staff and camp staff this week. Whether it was the kitchen help, the cooks, those who cleaned before the camps even got there. Our church staff, Brother Peter, Brother Will, spent days out there doing preparation, getting the camp up to operation speed, and then those who came out and worked during camps, everybody pulled together and made it for a great experience for the church that came out, and just appreciate all the hard work.
Awesome.
Pastor driving the boat,
Yep.
Miss Hope yelling at other pastors.
That was Jewel.
that was Jewel.
Jewel.
That was totally Jewel.
Okay.
Joel came out. Sometimes I wonder. I wish we could have like one of those reality shows where everything is documented, because people like Joel and Pete, just the immense amount of their life is in the ministry. They are the ministry.
Man.
Having their kids watched, and then they come out and work with somebody else's kids in the camp just to provide a good time for them. It's just an amazing thing.
Right.
Anyway, is it on my bubbly time?
It's yours.
All right. I just want to thank the Lord for Pastor and Mrs. Setzer down in Florida, sending us Damien for a couple weeks. He has been a blessing.
Amen.
And what's more of a blessing than that is Damien is he's a typical teenager, so it comes with the typical teenage stupidity at times.
I was wondering what
Gullibility.
brutal, honestly.
You know, the unbelievable supernatural appetite that he has,
It is.
What did he
and the
supernatural?
weird ability that he has to eat ice cream that's not ice cream as long as it has butterscotch on it. Or
It was
caramel.
caramel.
Okay.
Caramel.
And cherries.
I counted.
cherries,
It was
cherries.
at least 15 seconds before he realized.
Yeah, it was amazing. But he's a young man that is growing in the Lord, and it's just an honor to Pastor Sitzer was my pastor, and I learned so much from him. He trained me in many areas, and Sean, she trained me in many areas, whether I wanted to or not. And for them to send us another generation young man who means the world to them is a great honor, and we don't take it lightly. And we love Damien. We give him a hard time, but we love him already. Looking forward to what God's going to do in his life. I think, he said he would desire to be a pastor if that's what the Lord has for him.
Amen.
So
Amen.
I would concur with that thought process.
He's preaching Sunday, isn't he?
In Sunday school.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good.
It'll be good.
Is it
That's
gonna be
my
more than
safe
7
space.
minutes?
Awesome,
Good.
Yep.
Brother Peter.
I hope not. It's going to be longer than my message.
Yeah. Let's get into elaborate. Well, my safe space is thankfully this week at camp we really didn't have anything major, I should say. Any equipment glitches.
Amen.
Yes, everything pretty much worked as was supposed to. It's amazing. Praise God for normal weather.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were going to have the boat, but the Lord gave us the
Amen.
right counsel and got
Hey
the boat
man,
running.
those on the boat, they were feeling good. He was running rich.
Those that were on the boat, yes, were feeling good.
That's before I fixed it.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
That was good.
But it has
That was
been a good
it.
week.
That was it.
Okay.
It's yours.
You. Hey, did you? No.
Mine is also in the camp category. I'm thankful for those who came out and helped. I'm thankful for those who came out at the end of their day after working all day, places like the daycare, to be part of the dinner and things like that. And
Amen. To eat it.
to stay extra, to help out with things there. So definitely thankful for everyone's hard work. And then
Yeah, might as well.
this is her last
Yeah, it is.
Saturday
That's right.
with us. So we're glad that Mickey has been with us this summer for a short time.
Sadly, now we say goodbye
Sort
to
of.
each
I'm
and
just
every
kidding.
one.
I'm kidding. We really appreciate Mickey. We're thankful that she was able to be with us. It was definitely a blessing. Got a great spirit.
Be ready for posts on social media on how she escaped Nebraska.
Yes, I escaped Nebraska.
I actually should make those shirts and sell them. That'd be great.
I like it.
I escaped.
Actually, they said
NPBC.
we should have I
Camp
survived
Patmos.
or escaped.
Yeah.
I survived Camp Patmos.
Being exiled.
Yeah.
Mickey's all excited to buy one.
Okay.
We know you
we're
would.
Starting price is $300.
We know you.
$300, yes. We got to pay for the printing press and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the first 10 shirts.
All right. That's all we got. That's all we got. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of The Brook. We hope that you'll join us again next week, same time, same place, for another fun-filled show. Brother David, Pastor,
Hey, got a Bible verse?
we're getting there. Brother Peter, JT,
Jesus wept, John 11:35.
JT, and Mickey for the last time, and Damien. Damien will be with us next week as well.
Oh, yeah.
That's
we-
it. We're
Did we
signing
switch
off.
back to all the people while we were going around the table?
It did. Well, you sort of threw a wrench into that because I was kind of just going quick, and it just. I can
It's
do it
just
again.
been only on you.
David, Pastor,
All right.
Peter, thank you for a great broadcast. You can find this show.
Be a little fast to switch the cameras at that.
It would be really fast. Boom, 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 boom. Like David, Pastor, Peter. Thanks for another great show. You can find this show at some point in the future in podcast form on our website, on YouTube, on iTunes. Don't forget you can like and subscribe if you joined us today on YouTube. Don't forget to click the bell, get notified of when we go live. Before we go, we'd like to leave you with this week's verse. Brother David, can you send us off with a good verse?
Sure can. Galatians chapter 6 and verse 9. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not.
And with that, we'll play the final song, He's Faithful, the Assurance Trio. We will see you next week.
The Brook, a ministry of North Platte Baptist Church.